Well, here we go. What's today's movie going to be? Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. Here we go, 2021. Come on, bring it on. Yes. Yeah, great. Hey, I hope that for most of you, you've had some holiday time, some time of refreshing. I always find for myself personally that when I click over into the new year after having some holiday time, well-deserved holiday time, of course, holiday time that I seem to just start anew, just start afresh. Anyone with me on that one? Anyone find the new year as a time just to recalibrate and start again and start afresh? Come on, give us a little wave if that's you. Yeah, that's right. For most of us, in our psyche, we actually find it's new and here we go. Come on, 2021. So Happy New Year to all you guys, and to online or at home, wherever you are, where you're watching this from, to you guys as well. My name is Tim, and I'm a chaplain at one of the best schools on the Gold Coast. Actually, probably one of the best schools in Australia and potentially even the world. And it's such a privilege to work in an environment like that. You know, it is. It's so good. Christian education is good, isn't it? It is such a good thing, such a privilege, such an honour that we get to actually get beside people and walk them into, hopefully, an understanding and knowledge of Jesus. So I love that. I love my job, but it's not a job, it's a calling. So I love it that when you're called and we respond and we step in. So anyway, I hope this year for you guys is going to be a great year. I hope it's going to be a fantastic year. For some of you might be thinking, hang on, I haven't seen this thing before on my face. Tim, what is going on? I say that to myself every week when I look in the mirror. What? Who? What is that? Just for those who are wondering, it's just a little bit of holiday wisdom, okay? Just a little bit of holiday growth. Some of you have been commenting about the colour of it. Can we just set the record straight right here and right now? It is beach blonde. And that's not from a bottle, that's from being down at the beach and surfing, okay? So if you've got any problems with that, that's exactly what it is. But a few years ago, actually quite a few years ago, I did deal with my hair. And I said to my hair, I said, you can change on me, you can turn on me, but you can never leave me, all right? You can turn on me, but you can never leave me. But unfortunately, the older I get, I'm finding a few trying to get out the side exits and plenty trying to get out the back door as they're running out. It's like, getting a bit thinner, so, let's just stay tuned, see how that goes. So, hey, I want to really start off today by, I think I like to be a bit of a dad, sort of a jokester sort of thing. I've got 5 kids, for anyone who doesn't know. 5 children, they're all grown up now, and the youngest is going into grade 12, and then my eldest is 26 and married, and so hopefully Grandy's coming soon. If you're listening right now, Grandy's coming soon, hopefully. Yeah, that would be great. But anyway, so the more children I had, I found my jokes just got cornier and cornier. Come on, is the dads with me on that one, hey? Yes, hello. I think it's like a rite of passage, isn't it? Like when you're a teenager, you think you're funny, but you're not. When you become a dad, you are funny. Yeah? You are funny. Just all of a sudden, you're funny. And then you have a second child, and you're funnier. And the more children you have, you just get funnier and funnier and funnier. Okay, so here we go. I just want to start just warming you guys up in the new year. Here we go. So everyone just shake out 2020 right now. Shake it out, and here we go. Right out, 2021. Here we go. So I feel like in life that I've got probably some issues. Right? Okay, don't comment. Please don't comment right now. I've probably got some issues. If it was me just reflecting on myself, I'd say, if I just combed all through my whole life, I'd say I'd probably have one issue. Just probably one issue. But for most of you guys, you've probably got many issues, many more issues. Now, let's be real. Most of us have got issues. So if we had issues, and let's say we had lots and lots of issues. If we had to actually add up this issue, that issue, this issue, perhaps we could easily count to 10 issues. Is that right? Anyone would agree with me on that one? You've probably got at least 10 issues in this room. Yeah. Okay, so if I had 10 issues, if we had 10 issues, what would that equal? What would that amount to? What would I actually have in life? I'd have problems. But probably even better than that, some way to get out of those 10 issues. If I had 10 issues, I'd probably actually have tennis shoes. So I think tennis shoes are a way to get out of all my issues, of my problems that I've got. Tennis shoes. So if I've got tennis shoes, that's obviously a solution. So now I just need to get a racket and get a can of tennis balls and go out and learn how to play tennis. No, good one, Tim. That was terrible. Okay, no, but really, I was at the shop the other week and I was looking for a new couch for our lounge room, and I was talking to the salesman, and I said to the salesman, I need a big couch. I need a big couch, can sort of fit lots of people on it. What do you recommend? And so he turns my attention to this couch, and he says, this couch right here will be able to fit 5 people with no problems at all. And I said to him, wow, really? That couch really can fit 5 people with no problems at all? And he said, no problems at all, 5 people. I said, wow, that's pretty good. I want that couch. So I took it home, put it in my lounge room. It's sitting pride and place in my lounge room. Now I just need to find 5 people with no problems at all. Come on, Tim. They've got to get better than this. They've got to get better than this. We all have problems. We all have issues. That's the point I'm trying to get across in those really super corny dad jokes. Every single one of us, no matter who we are, no matter where we've come from in life, no matter how perfect we may see we are, sometimes when people refer to me, they say, Tim, it's like Jesus and you're just underneath him there somewhere. No, that's not the case at all. None of us are perfect. None of us are actually close to it. But I found this old picture at home that I've got, and I think this person may be the closest thing to perfection. Have a look and see if you can identify this person. Anyone? Who is that? Who is that? Come on, shout it out. That is Stack Tanner, who is, yes, very much Kevin Thomas. That was in the early days of Kev. Sorry, Kev, I couldn't help it. I've been waiting for the right time to bring that one out. It's a few of us have got a cassette of Stack Tanner, which is Kev. That was his one of his stage names he used when he was singing, and that is the man right there. How is that mullet, everyone? That is so cool. That is a well-groomed looking little mullet, isn't it? So as you can see, we've all got problems. Come on, let's move on. Let's move on. We've all got problems, and psychology actually says that we've all got basic needs. That every single one of us, humankind, as us as humans, in who we are as people, we've all got these basic needs, and how we handle these basic needs, mixed with life circumstances, what comes our way, mixed with our personality as well, this actually determines how we operate and even view life from. So we know every single one of us has problems. We know every single one of us has issues. We understand that. And I think when we look at the basis of our needs, with our personality and life circumstances, we can actually start projecting further into who we're becoming, whether it be positive or negative. So we all meet our needs, positive or negative. And so that's why, those basic needs of, if we sort of walk through some of the key basic needs, we'd actually look at survival. Survival probably being one of the big ones. And that's why we see, people in like modern society when they go off and do one of these programs, some sort of survival show and they're not eating a lot of food and their shelter's really dodgy or whatever it is, they degrade really quickly, don't they? So that's survival mode. Every single one of us actually need part of that in our lives. We need it to be to a standard where we can actually operate better from. So survival's a big one. Worth and value is another big one as well. Do I feel worthwhile as a person? Do I feel valued as a person? That's a huge need that every single one of us. And love, obviously, another big one as well. Love is a huge one. Every single one of us want to be loved, feel loved, and give love as well. So we've got survival, we've got worth and value, we've got love in there as well. Freedom is another one. Every single one of us want that freedom to be able to explore who we are and what's going on in life, and that freedom, don't tell me, and I want to explore it myself. And fun is another big one as well. Every single one of us want to have fun. So we all look for these needs, whether positive or negative, and we will meet them. So I just wonder how you're going with that. I wonder how you're going meeting your needs in life. Because if it comes from a negative, if it comes from a place of hurt, if perhaps your needs and your circumstances from life weren't real good growing up and coming through life and whatever's going on, mixed with your personality and how you process and how you handle things, perhaps you're someone who's hurt. There's a saying that goes, hurt people. But free people. I don't know, sometimes in my life I found that I used to hurt people sometimes for my own self-gain. I used to find I could take from people what I wanted to for my own purpose. And so I would hurt people because I felt that hurt, so I would hurt others, not intentionally. But now, thanks be to Jesus. Thanks be to love of who this saving God is, who has saved me. So now I operate from a place of freedom, as with many of us do. Hopefully all of us do operate from a place of freedom. So free people. If you've been struggling with this, and today I'm going to open this door right up and go into there a little bit more. Here at our church we do EHS, you've heard it over and over again, emotionally healthy spirituality. Jump on board with that, sign up for that. If you think you might need to deal with some of this stuff from your past so that you can move forward. See, awareness of yourself and others is so crucial. Awareness of who you are as a person and who others are and how you operate around others is so crucial. So I want to ask this question before we get into our movie, before we find out what's going on in this movie, is how is your soul? How is your soul? We sang in that song about our soul. Our soul is this living part of who we are as a person. Our soul, they say, contains our will and our emotions. It's the living part of us that will go on for all of eternity. And sometimes we treat our soul with disrespect. Sometimes we stamp on our soul and we say, no, I don't care about you because I'm motivated towards this. But your soul and your spirit, so closely aligned, are some of the most important parts of who you are as a person. So if it's made up of your will and your emotions, how healthy is your will? How healthy are your emotions? How healthy is your soul? What are you feeding it? Are you feeding it anything positive at all? Remember, positive or negative, we will meet our needs. Are you feeding yours positively, or are you just grabbing the junk? Okay, guilty. Let's talk about food. Real simple, easy one. Now, I'm not condemning anyone that eats rubbish food because I'm the first one that does that, okay? I love mud cake. I love, soft drink when I can get the chance to it. Not that I drink it that often. I just fang on junk food, if I can. But I've got to stop myself. I've got to say no to that. And I've got to move forward into hang on, what's actually good for me? It's the same with our soul. Am I feeding my soul? Are you guys feeding your soul with what's positive? Are you refreshing it? Or are you letting it be refreshed by the one who created it? The one who knows your soul intimately, detailed. The one who's going to spend eternity with you and your soul. See, are you a giver? Are you giving to people coming from a place of a refreshed soul? Or are you a taker, taking from others whatever you can, perhaps even a little self-centered because your soul is feeling low, because you're not feeling right? And maybe this is because you just haven't been aware of yourself. You haven't been aware of how you're treating yourself and how you're treating others as a result of this. And perhaps you need to just dig a little bit deeper. Or once again, dig deeper again into who you are, but most importantly, whose you are. My soul, my soul, my soul cries out to you, O Lord, the one who refreshes it. I love in a moment, and whether it be down the beach getting my beach blonde tan going on my face or whatever it is going on, I just love being refreshed in that place that refreshes me by the one who refreshes my soul. So, of course, here we are. We're setting up our movie for today. And today we're going to have a look at Soul Surfer. Yeah, come on, Tim. Why'd you bring that one out? Because I'm a surfer. Hello. When this movie came out, it was like, yeah, bring it on. That is so good. I love surfing. I love being out in the water. I love catching waves. I love just everything that goes with surfing. The vibe of actually me being out there. And so when this movie came out, when we saw Soul Surfer, and most of you know the story, it's a few years old now, about what happened in life. I love the movie because through adversity, courage can grow. Come on, do you want to hear this? This is the start of the new year. Come on, didn't we leave 2020 a few days ago? And aren't we stepping into 2021? And you're saying, come on, Tim, through adversity, courage can grow. Yeah, absolutely I am. Absolutely I am. I think the best stuff grows through adversity. I think it tests our character. I think it allows us to depend and rely on the one who carries us through life, the one who created us and says, come on, let's go. I've made you for so much more. So that's what I love about this movie. Can I tell you a real quick story before we get into it? I actually met Bethany Hamilton. Personally, I actually met her. Soul Surfer. I met her. Right? Surfer? Come on. We all hang out. We all know each other. No, that's not true. But anyway, can I tell you a story real quickly before we get into it? So here I was, a youth pastor, and I knew that she was in Australia and for the Roxy Pro competition, so down the Gold Coast here at Coolangatta Snapper Rocks there, and so big international, world-renowned, bang, all the best surfers from around the world come to the Quicksilver Pro males and Roxy Pro females, and so I knew she was in town. And the Friday night, I'd set up and I was talking about this new movie that had come out, Soul Surfer and blah, 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 and talking about, Bethany and who she was and, blah, 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 and her story and all the rest of it. And I said to him, I just threw it out there, hey, I'm actually going for a surf tomorrow morning on the Saturday morning. I said, what's the bet that I probably run into her? Because I used to love driving down and surfing at Snapper Rocks. They're one of the best surf spots. What's the bet I actually run into her? And what's the bet, if I do run into her, I'm going to ask her to come back here, if she can, next week and speak to you guys, to this youth group. And they're like, no, Tim, no way, no way, no way, no way. And I was like, oh, well, let's give it a go. We'll see. Anyway, I went for a surf in the morning, didn't think anything more of it. And I don't know if any of you guys know, but it's Snapper and Rainbow and then Coolangatta and then in Decura if you get a really, but you can catch waves after wave after wave, and then you've got to do a run around all the way back up, and then you just paddle back out at Snapper again, and then you can go again amongst a million other people. And so here I was, I had done this, I'd caught some great waves, and I was on my way back around, sort of, walking, jogging, sort of, keen to get back out there. And up in the distance, on the beach, as it wraps around, I see this female with a surfboard under one arm and missing the other arm, with blonde hair, sort of jogging off up the beach. And I thought, hang on a minute, how many one-armed female surfers do we know that would be surfing down here? Zero, none. I don't know any, apart from one. Hello, that's who it is. Rightio, come on, Tim, don't be a fanboy. I run, right, not being all dodgy, sort of, just running after her thinking, man, this is my chance, this is my chance, this is my chance. Anyway, so I'm thinking I'm getting close and Tim, don't be a fool by running up to her and be all puffing and all over the place and, man, just act cool. So anyway, I run to her. She's nearly in the water by this stage, right, and the closer I get, I'm like starting to froth a little bit, going, oh, it is Bethany, it is Bethany, oh, it is, I can't believe it. And so anyway, she runs down, because she's only got one arm, she sort of runs into the water a bit and dropped the board in, grabs a leg rope and goes to put a leg rope on. That gave me time to catch her. Whew. So anyway, I run up beside her. Kid you not, this is exactly how it happened. I run up beside her and I call out to her, Brittany. She ignored me. What? What would you ignore me for? I just called out to you. So I did it again. Brittany! By this stage, she's right beside me. Brittany! And she looks at me and goes, my name's Bethany. And I felt this big. Here was my moment to meet someone who they've made a movie about, someone who's become a professional surfer, someone who's done so much in life already up to that stage, and I blow it. And so I just started stumbling my words. And she was like, and just hopped on a board and paddled away. Caught a wave and out of there. And I thought, have you ever wanted to hit the reset button before? Start again? Hello? I wish I could have started that one again. So in that, I've carried this thing, but hey, I got to meet Bethany. I got to meet Bethany. Sorry, Bethany, if you're watching this one, I apologise about that one. I really do. So anyway, let's all have a look and meet Bethany Hamilton growing up. There we go. So there's Bethany growing up, this healthy, happy young girl who loved surfing and sounds a bit like me, apart from the girl part. And by loving family, and they love Jesus, from what we see in the story and what we read about the family. They loved Jesus as well. And so she appeared to have a life going so well, and she competed and she was doing really well, and she wanted to be the best female surfer in the world, wanted to be a competitive, professional female surfer. The family trusted in God. They choose to follow after him and trust in him no matter what came their way. But unfortunately, bad things can happen, even to good people. So here's my main rock I want to bring out. I've got 3 big rocks I want to sort of pull out today. And so the first one I sort of want to really look at is that we all have stuff happen to us and all those around us. But it's how we walk through it that matters most. So every single one of us has stuff happen directly to us or to those around us. And it's how we walk through it that matters most. We know in the story that Bethany was obviously attacked by a shark and just chomped one of her arms straight off. That was it, gone. And in that moment, she stayed cool, and then, she obviously had the surgery and she survived and went on. And her determination within her and her character and her family supported her to bounce back as quick as possible. But every single one of us could have this woe is me sort of moment, especially Bethany. Here she was, a 13-year-old girl, attacked by a shark, arm ripped off. What hope is there for the future? Let's have a look at this next clip. Bethany in the hospital bed. The things that you're going to have to learn to do differently are huge. But the things that you won't be able to do will be insignificant. See, we can walk through traumas. Now, every one of us has probably faced a trauma, faced something in our lives where it's actually really stumped us, where it's tried to pull us down. But when we relearn, especially by the maker, the creator, the one who wants to continually creating in us a new spirit and a new soul, when we relearn the new ways of doing life again with him, everything can work out. Any single one of us could be caught like a victim from what the world throws at us, especially Bethany. She could have been like a victim and just gone into that full woe is me. I can't believe why did this happen to me? And so many of us actually do that as well. Perhaps for you, you've had something happen to you quite major or minor. Perhaps something happened to you, and I'm not trying to stir the pot here at all, but let's just face the reality of it. Every single one of us face stuff. And I'm just wondering how you've transited through this life, this trauma, or whatever's been happening into you. And no way am I trying to stir that up. Perhaps for you, you weren't equipped to face this of what happened in your life. And perhaps you're still feeling with the pain or the hurt from it. And like I said, once again, please come, join us with EHS and do this course and allow God to just peel back some of those layers, peel back some of that baggage or that hurt or that stuff that might be clinging onto you. I'm not trying to actually be insensitive to any single one of you here this morning. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching this from, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Actually, it's the opposite. I want to see you set free. I want to see every single one of us set free from whatever it is that's holding us back, whatever the gaps are in our life. I want to see every single one of us get through this. But even more than me, Jesus wants to set you free. Jesus wants to set you free from whatever it is that's holding you back. What holds us back? See, we all live in this broken world. Every single one of us live in this broken world, and that was never God's original intentions. It's part of life. And if I was to sort of throw this little statement out that's been thrown around before, is that every single person dies, but not everybody truly lives. Damn, 2021, where you going? Start of the year. You're on a downer, dude. What are you doing to us all? You're bringing it down. No, I'm not. Let's look back so we can go forward even stronger. Let's look back over who and the what so we can actually move forward in a better way, allowing God to actually shape us. See, we can give everything over to Him. We can give the good, the bad, even the very ugly back over to God and allow Him to embrace us in His love, His loving peace, and trust the process. See, He has so much more to offer every single one of us. We can actually exchange our brokenness for His life. Our brokenness. I want to give my brokenness every single day over to Him and exchange it for the life that He gives us. See, we don't get to see the big picture in life. And if I was to be real with you guys for just a moment, last year for all of us was probably pretty tough. You know, through COVID and everything that happened in life. I was on a learning curve that just went through the roof, like most of us, learning the new, learning the processes, learning how do we deal with life, how do we handle all this. And at the same time, I was caring for my father with my mother. My father passed away at the end of last year in August. And I could have taken it from a position of, why? You know, it was cancer that was eating him up on the inside. But yet I watched my father transition from living life, this man who was fully capable, this man who was actually loved to live life, who was not just defending and sticking up for us, but providing and loving us like nothing else, who loved life, turned into this person who had no life. And in that process, I felt so privileged. And in the last few weeks, I moved in with mum and dad, and I got to care for my father with my mum. He didn't want to go into hospital because it was right in the middle of COVID and all the rest of it, so we didn't want to lose him into there. And so I had the privilege of spending all this time with my dad. And what an honor it was. My dad loved family. He loved his faith, and he loved his friends. See, he knew where he was going. He didn't have any concerns about dying because he knew Jesus and he knew where he was going. And so it was so much more easier. It was more comforting for every single one of us to know this. And so as we cared for him in those last remaining weeks, right down to full care, He was surrounded by his family, all of his family, on his last day. We were worshiping and praying and praising with him. And we walked him up to the gates of heaven. And we couldn't go any further. We said, there you go, Dad. Death to every single one of us is a reality. Every single one of us is going to face it in a family member at some stage. It wasn't the first time I had to face death. About 12 years ago, my brother, who was one of my best friends, was a pilot and flew all over the world and had his own crop dusting business, and he was flying, doing another loop, and this wind kicked up and he was in this valley, and the wind just grabbed his plane, threw it into the ground. He was killed instantly. So I've faced death a couple of times in my life, as with every single one of us. And we don't understand the big picture. We don't get it at the time. We go, why? Why, God? Why is this happening? Why to me? Why to him? Why to his family? What's this all about? And we don't get to see the big picture. But we do get to just give it back over to God and trust the process. See, we can give all things to God and trust the process. So every single one of us have walked through and are walking through and will walk through trauma or whatever it is in our life, whether it be in 2020, whether it be 10 years ago, or whatever it looked like for you. Are you wanting to stay in that place, or are you wanting to give it to the Creator and say, God, I understand we live in this brokenness. I don't want to be broken any longer. I want to move forward into a place where I can trust you with all things. No matter what's going on in my life, no matter what I'm facing in life. See, we know this, don't we, that God created, sin broke it, but Jesus is restoring it. God created, sin broke it, and Jesus is restoring it. Are we allowing Jesus to restore every part of who we are? We need to actually have this eternal perspective, not on this life, this here and this now, whether it be for in 5 or 10 or 50 or 80 years or whatever it is that we live for. We need to have this eternal perspective where we trust in God in all things. As Len spoke about last week, that scripture from Hebrews talking about how we fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter. I want to focus on Paul and a scripture here that he talks about in 2 Corinthians, and he says, therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. Well, because what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. That's one thing that's just helped me in my life, is fix my eyes on what is eternal. Eternity is so much longer. And I love that this quote, this good friend of some of us, Trevor Chandler, would say that I wonder if life is a bit like a practice run. If this life on this earth as we know it, this body, this temple that we live in, is a little bit like a training ground, like a rehearsal for life to come. I wonder if this short, momentary, as Paul says, life on this earth is just a snapshot where we get to train and practice who we're becoming in our eternity. Because eternity is so much longer than 1 or 10 or 100 or even 1,000 years. It's even longer than 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 or 1,000,000,000,000 years. It's eternal. So who are you setting yourself up? Your soul. Are you allowing this living part of you to be set up for you for all eternity? So here's my big rock number 2 that I want to bring out, and I've got to bring this home real quickly. Here we go. So we can give it over to God. Get yourself out of the way and trust the process, being led by His Spirit. So whatever happens, whatever's going on, we can give it over to God, get ourselves out of the way, and we trust the process, being led by His Spirit. Here's Bethany, where she did that, and she went on this mission trip, and she got herself out of the way, and she saw this tsunami devastated area in Thailand. Let's pick up the story again. Any tidal wave more powerful than any fear. When we get ourselves out of the road, when we give it over to God, when we trust the process, we allow Him to deal with our baggage, Him to deal with the very things of who we are into who we're becoming. Well, then we can actually start walking this life. When we get ourselves out of the road, we can have little glimpses of seeing who this God is and what He's doing in the world and what He wants to do in us and through us. I love some of our family values here at our church, like protect and serve, love and generosity, being Spirit-led. I think when we tap into these very core values of who we are as a church community, well, then we can continue to move forward, trusting Jesus and actually seeing others. It's our attitude of life, how we look at life and how we walk in and through life. I love how Paul says that I have learned to be content in all circumstances. And he says that in Philippians 4:12. And then again in 2 Corinthians, he talks about that Jesus is saying, God's saying to him, that my grace is sufficient for you even in your weakness. So I wonder where you're at today. I wonder if you're leaning into God and trusting Him through the process of whatever it throws at you, allowing Him to transform you into who you are becoming. We're going to watch this last clip now, and then we're going to wrap it up with the band and pull this day in together. So let's have a look at Bethany as she's moving forward from this place of revelation. Are you willing to have the courage and conviction, another one of our family values, to push in, to allow God to transform you, to take that baggage off your shoulders, that weight that's been holding you down, and look at 2021 and say, you know what, I want to walk into this year. I don't want to carry what's from my past. I want to learn from it, absolutely. And I want to focus on the new creation that God has made me to become. A life of trusting in God no matter what happens. Bethany now is actually married and they're having their third child and living a life as a professional surfer, speaking around the world for Jesus and faith and hope in Him. Her influence is on so many because of what happened. I love that for those who love the Lord, that God works for all things for His good. When we trust Him and we trust the process. Are you wanting to be a person that's perhaps known by your fruit as being honorable and being caring and being loving? Someone who helps those in need. Not a person that's held back by your fear or your anxiety or control or your baggage. Do you want to be a person that doesn't have big gaps in your life? That can give your best to God and allow Him to take care of the rest. Here's my last big rock as we finish this up. Are you willing to give God your best and let Him take care of the rest? So 2021, what do you need to do right here, right now? In a moment, the band's going to sing a song. And my challenge is to every single one of you, whether you're at home or wherever you're watching this or whether you're here right now. What's something you perhaps need to let go of in your life? Something that you know is holding you back. Even right here, right now. What's something that you can give over to God? Is it hurt? Is it pain? What's something that you can start doing or keep doing over and over to grow closer in your relationship with God? What's holding you back? What are you waiting for? Here's a new year. Here's where God wants to restore you. Where God wants to take whatever it is that you're willing to give to Him and hand over to Him.